So, what do you guys want to talk about? Good afternoon, good evening, good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed the Monday after the day before. My name is Shane Harris. Welcome to the Third Long Podcast. Up above me is my beautiful baby Hope. He is as beautiful on the screen as he is in person, as I found out yesterday. To my right, my teacher extraordinaire, my handsome man himself, Mr. Philip Perrins. And in the top corner, distinguished, he is like a bottle of wine. As I've said before, only gets better with age. Mr. Oliver Butler Henderson. Gentlemen, how are we feeling after a momentous occasion for me yesterday?
I am gutted that there's no more London games this year.
But I'm in Germany in 4 weeks to watch
Yes.
Patriots
Yes,
lose
he
to
is.
Patriots lose to the Colts. So yeah, happy days.
Yeah, I mean, the
you mean, yeah?
Patriots lose every. Yeah, but at least you'll see Gardner Minshew play.
Oh, it's an honour.
Goat.
Brady might be there actually. Yeah, you're right.
Richardson's out for the season, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's done for the season now. He's shoulder surgery, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more injuries happening this week as well. It's like, oh my god, there's like niggling injuries. I mean, you've got a couple.
After we called last week's episode, the hospital room. There's even more injuries now.
I know it's hospital rooms 2.0. Shano, have you finished crying yet? How are you feeling, my friend?
I am not ashamed to say, and I will never be ashamed to say, that I shed a few tears yesterday. You were there when we were in the stadium, and I looked through the window and I could see Justin Tucker, I could see Lamar, I could see Mark Andrews, Roquan Smith, literally 100 yards from me, and I shed a tear, and you had to grab me and say, "Are you all right?" By no stretch of the imagination was I all right. You know, I was also not all right for the fact that a pint of inches in my Ravens commemorative cup was £6.75. But I digress. As I said, you know, we've got pictures which I will share to our socials of well, if anybody follows me on social media, they will see a lot of photo spam from yesterday. And you may or may not have seen, with a tear in my eye, this was the best day of my life.
Well,
just while we're talking about food and stuff, if you're ever in Tottenham Stadium, do not get the mac and cheese pie. It is awful.
Is it?
Hey, stripping! Hey!
Yeah, boy!
Hold on, let me just take
me and my dad both got a mac and cheese pie. It cost £6, and it was almost inedible.
Nice.
That's bad, but with a complaint, file a complaint. This is obviously Third and Long After Dark once again.
I'm going to say one thing before we roll on to Thursday night. Our mate Andy from across the pond sent me a message asking if Mr. Harris is crying. Now, do I have any pictures of him?
Well, funny you should say that. Laura, my partner, sent pictures to Phil of me sobbing, and you could literally see tears running down my face.
Yep.
And he sent her back. He put little blue marks coming down my face.
I saw that.
Absolute children, but as I said, one of the best days of my life.
Let's start off with week 6, Thursday night. A misfiring Kansas City Chiefs beat
if the Chiefs were playing
lackluster Broncos.
If the Chiefs, I watched this game.
Yep.
Live, and if the Chiefs were playing any decent team, they would have lost. But they were playing a Sean Payton disaster of a Broncos team.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd love to see this Broncos team take on that team from home team that Sean Payton coached and see which one won.
Oh, he's son at quarterback, wasn't it, as well? So yeah, that's brilliant. Although Mr. Perry has had some doubts about that film, don't you?
I hate him.
Don't pull any punches, boy. Tell them how you really feel.
Hate it. Yeah.
Do we have any insight before we let Shane talk about his best day of his life? Sorry, Laura.
What about the Chiefs game or just the London game?
Chiefs game, mate. We'll get to London, mate.
I'm going to say this. I mean, despite the fact that our team also lost, but that's later on in the show, I have not been convinced by the Chiefs this year. I mean, I think the general consensus is that they haven't quite hit that gear that we are expecting them to do coming off their bye week in the future. They just don't look like a good team. And I think against any other team that aren't headed by, Sean Payton and Patrick Wilson, they probably would have gone down. If they were playing the Jets on Thursday night, they would have lost. Like, if they were playing Jacksonville, they would have lost. Hell, if they would have played, I mean, I'd look to see what happens when they play the Raiders next, to see what that looks like. But they just don't look. I would be surprised if the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl this year. Like,
apart from maybe the Panthers, potentially, I feel like they've been playing any other team. No, I even think the Patriots have beaten them.
Are you sure?
No, man.
I
don't think McCorkle would have pulled that out of the bag.
Yeah. Also, just while we talk about this, there was a guy near me yesterday. There was one that had a Zappy shirt.
There's a lot of guys near you yesterday, mate. There's 61,000 people there.
Right.
Laura's just come in saying, I have already accepted that meeting me is no longer the best day of Shane's life.
Goddamn right, Laura. Goddamn right.
I'm gonna add one thing really quickly to what Phil's had before we go on to Shane-O. I think the two Super Bowl teams haven't got out of second gear yet.
Yeah.
100%.
Shane-O,
100%.
lead us away on your best day of your life. I'm repping Boston College because our man's first touchdown was literally right in front of us.
I saw Zay Flowers' first touchdown as a Raven. Don't, because I'll start you up again. I saw Zay Flowers' first touchdown as a Raven, and nobody can take that away from me. The fact that it was in Spurs Stadium, which as a United fan, you'd never like to go to a different stadium, but it's a beautiful, beautiful facility, beautiful stadium. The staff were lovely. The fans everywhere as well, fair play, were really nice. And there was nobody, like I was sat next to a guy who was asking me why I was a Ravens fan and this, that, and the other. And he was really nice and really sound. And there was guys behind me. I can't repeat what they were saying because this is a family show, ladies and gentlemen. But they were too complimentary towards our offense. But it was all a bit of fun. Like I said, yesterday wasn't just about going to my first NFL game or going to my first Ravens game. It was also about meeting the three of my, brothers on this podcast. And it's been well documented that me and Phil have met previously due to our mutual love for the Graps. But meeting Ollie and Ollie for the first time yesterday was basically the icing on the cake of a great day. And it doesn't come across, you may come across as know-it-alls on the podcast and quite, but in person to meet their family and their friends and everything, it was really a brilliant day for me. One of the worst parts of the day, and boys, you know about this, Ollie especially, I bought 4 cans of Strongbow before I went before I went into the game day experience. I managed to drink a can and a half because they wouldn't let me in.
I literally said, "Don't do that," and you did it.
You didn't tell me to do it.
Phil literally said to me, he said, Shane's going to buy cans of Strongbow and he's not going to be allowed in. Phil literally said that to me.
I said to Laura, how many cans are you going to buy? She says 4. What does he walk out with? 4. About the game. Mr. Perrins, tell us about that Titans offense, or lack of, shall we say?
Oh, you know what? I was saying to you as we're watching the game, because it was actually quite nice at one point, Ollie, because me and you were literally calling the offensive plays, weren't we, as they were happening? Like, they're going to pull this. Honestly, we were literally going
pass play,
running back draw. Like, he's going to pitch it. Like, literally all these things, because especially when the Titans are on the field, because they're the easiest offense to play against, because they're only going to do 2 things. They're either going to hand it off to King Henry, which if you are any decent interior defensive lineman, that's the easiest thing in the world because he's only going to run up the middle. or he's going to be looking for Hopkins. And if you're a passable, cornerback or secondary, that's kind of easy to cover. So they are so predictably tall, and this is where, and this is not a knock against you, Shano. This is just me as a neutral fan going into this game, not really having any team to pull for. The Ravens are infinitely better than the Titans. Doesn't say they're good. They're just infinitely better than the Titans. The Titans probably have the most boringest one-dimensional offense ever, because Tannehill, they should have actively tried to move away from about 4 years ago now. They haven't got anybody, and like even when they brought in Willis, it was just nothing. In fact, they even got worse. I kind of agree with you now, Ollie, now that I've seen him play live. Like, I am not a fan of him because he's not Minshew. Like, he can't make things happen. He's just letting things happen to him.
This is Willis.
Well, no.
Oh, no.
Right. Ollie, remember what I said to you about like him as a thrower? Like most quarterbacks, they normally have, in terms of like their motion, they step back, the arms go, and then there's like a release. It's like it's the most iconic thing in sports. With Willis, he seems to add in another 3 mechanics in his arm where he doesn't do things like kind of like smoothly. It's like, it's hard to describe, but like I'm watching him where we were sitting and going, he's not a comfortable passer, which is weird for a quarterback. Because you would think that he's been doing this since high school, kindergarten, whatever. But like he doesn't throw the ball like you'd expect 31 out of the 32 quarterbacks to throw in the NFL. And I was just kind of like, once Tucker kept kicking the field goals over and over and over, I knew the Titans weren't ever going to get into it, and lo and behold, they didn't really. They scored a touchdown, but that was kind of it for them. That was their Super Bowl, scoring a touchdown at Tottenham.
Harold Landry had a really good game yesterday for the Titans. Like, given that he seemed to pop up all the time.
So, Ollie, I assume your view on Willis hasn't changed?
It's got, mate. It's almost like Mr. Perrin said. It's almost like he's born left-handed, but he's been taught to throw right-handed.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him on videos all the time, but watching him in person, it's like almost as well. He's almost like double guessing himself as well when he's in that pocket. There's my first read. It's safe for safe. Oh no, it's not. There's a player like 10 yards away. He's going to get there before the ball. It's not.
He just stood there like a statue, like he was waiting to get sacked.
Yeah.
How big is that less fine that Carl Hamilton's going to get for kicking the flag?
Jesus
not for the
we
hit.
saw it firsthand, didn't we?
So, was that why he got ejected?
Yeah.
No,
there was 2 things. There was that reckless tackle. I mean, we saw it on the big screen. It went shoulder to helmet, which in the NFL is a no-go.
Wasn't it Marlon Humphreys that made the tackle?
No, but he came in, so he was late hitting it. So he was going down. Hamilton comes in literally as the player's coming down, shoulder to helmet. That's an instant no. I'm not surprised he got ejected, but it kind of threw me. And then you kind of see him, and he kicks the flag, and then that's when you feel like the refs were like, "No, you're not kicking my flag," and then they chucked him out of the game. But it's hard to really say, in terms of, because I think the actual foul was unsportsmanlike conduct, which strikes me as kicking the flag.
Well, I mean, he will get fined.
Oh no, he will. Obscene amount.
Kids will go fined $10K for his F Dallas shirt.
Love that.
Because we're not at 9 o'clock yet.
Yep. Pre-watershed, baby.
So I would think it would be about the same.
Yeah.
Boys, it's ill discipline. John's not going to be happy about that.
No.
And I've been looking at the media all day and the press conferences and, like, say Marlon Humphrey's Instagram Live where he's interviewed players on the plane back and this, that, and the other. But it hasn't been mentioned. But it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But what I am slightly concerned about is the red zone production. If we didn't have a kicker as good as Justin Tucker, we would be in trouble. And we need to fix that before next week against Detroit.
He said exactly that, literally in the stadium. He
said exactly that. He said that in the chat too. Without Tucker, the Ravens would be. It's still 9 o'clock.
And he was
Now-
also telling everyone stop booing the refs.
I
which
was
made me chuckle.
honestly it was the funniest thing ever. Like literally, as soon as like an offence would go against like the Ravens, like the whole area that we're seeing, we're booing. And they would literally stand up and go, "Don't boo the refs! Don't boo the refs! Like, they're your refs!"
Have you seen the film The Longest Yard?
Yes.
Yes.
You know the guy who's on steroids when he goes, "Come on, everyone! They're all just trying to get on really well and do the best they can."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who he reminded me of at that point.
All right, ladies and gents, you see like twice a week, just like a little bit of a drop of like my banter, my winding people up, and then you guys, I mean, Shane knows it quite a lot now. That I love winding people up. It's a sign of my endearment to all of you. If I try and wind you up, it's because I like you. But like yesterday, in the stadium,
100%.
and in the stadium yesterday, I was like, I was almost like channeling Shane, like my inner 2003 Rock, like. Don't boo the refs! Like you're like literally one step away from just like thinking I was Hollywood Rock, big time in them. But it was
Hollywood
really
Rock.
That
There was a
really
Titans
cool.
home game yesterday. It was supposed to be a Titans home game yesterday, but you wouldn't know it. Apart from
that was
all
a
the
lot of Ravens.
decoration and all the this, that, and the other, it was definitely there was more Ravens fans there. I think then it was neutral fans, and then there was Titans fans.
I mean, I was actually about to move on to this. I was going to say, last week it was a Bills home game,
You could tell.
and boy, did you know it!
Yeah.
And the week before, it was a Jags home game. You could tell it was a Jags home game.
Yeah, this one. Honestly, I felt the atmosphere was a bit flat yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said that. I thought that.
I don't want to say this because the other two have been really, really good.
The other two were
Yes.
brilliant atmosphere games.
Yesterday, I thought the atmosphere was really, really flat and dull.
Now, do you think that might be a couple of folds? Do you maybe think that I don't want to say NFL International Series fatigue, that we've taken some games for
That's-
granted,
I think that's what it is.
or maybe, and again, this is not a knock against the Ravens because it's not, but like the Titans aren't exactly a glamorous team. Now with Jacksonville, you've got that 10-year commitment of like them
Yep.
coming over every single year. They have their own show on Sky Sports NFL. You know, you got like Shad Khan and Tony Khan who own Fulham, and they have that kind of stuff over here as well. Shad Khan's trying to buy Wembley Stadium, which is ironic because he can't even fund a stadium to buy for his own Jacksonville
They
Jaguars.
come by United.
I know. No, because billionaires are going to start.
Can
investing
anyone buy
in-
United, please?
It's going to be so, Jim. Anyway, back on track. I think it might be a little bit of fatigue. Might be the end of the month. You know, that kind of like payday.
Yeah.
It got really cold and top. And also, let's not overlook the fact that I didn't particularly enjoy getting to the ground or leaving the ground. It was shambolic. It took me 45 minutes to get into the overground to then try and get a train home. And I was
That was so easy.
oh yeah, well,
Well, probably, it took us an hour to get to the car, mind you. But yeah.
yeah, well done you. No, but honestly, it was so. I ended up actually being in a line with a lad that I used to play American football with in Worcester. I literally looked at him and went, "Do you used to play for the Royals?" He went, "Yeah." I went, "Oh my god!" It was weird. It was like one of those sliding
Nice.
doors moments. But yeah, it was just such a surreal thing, like trying to get to the stadium, like this beautiful £1 billion stadium, and then you look like slightly to the right, and there's a council estate with rubbish in the garden and a mattress.
Harry-
Like
and
it's,
Harry came yours.
Yeah,
and Harry Kane mural, but like it was just I don't know, it was the atmosphere felt flat. I don't know whether or not a little bit of fatigue, maybe the fact that the Titans aren't that particular glamorous.
Yeah.
You know, I've kind of felt it before years ago when it was a Raiders Dolphins game at Wembley. It just felt flat. And then sometimes I guess with like any sporting occasion, you have your red hot games, and you'll have the games that go, they happened.
Honestly, I think anything that followed that Bills game to people that went to both, it would have felt flat because that Bills game was absolutely electric.
Yeah.
I also think the fact that it was filled with mostly neutral fans for this game, so they didn't really care as much. So therefore, there was no absolutely mammoth noise. Like my watch told me they got up to 130 decibels during third down of the Bills. My watch said it got up to 90, and that was when the national anthem was going on yesterday.
Okay.
because I remember them saying the Titans announcer was like, "It's third down, make some noise," and there was no.
And there was just silence.
Literal silence.
You could hear people opening their £2 bag of crisps, you know.
Yeah, and like the sweets as well, which I £8 for a little thing of sweets.
I know.
He kept on
Whereas-
listening
whereas-
quietly.
Last week it was third down. Ed Oliver was there, geeing up the crowd.
Yeah.
Everyone was going crazy. But this time it was like, third down. Okay.
Cool.
Nothing.
Okay.
Make some noise for your Tennessee
Sunday night
Titans.
games. Let's roll across the 6 o'clock games. Sam Howell's Washington's ended Desmond Ridder's unbeaten home record as a starter.
And possible time as a starter.
Yep. Washington outfinished win 24-16. Bengals defense have finally come to the party with 2 picks and 4 sacks as the Bengals win 17-13 over the Seahawks. Jags' first game back in the States. They pick off Gardner 3 times in a 37-20 win over the Colts.
Gardner's overrated.
Oh,
Hey?
blow me.
Gardner's overrated.
Sad face.
Chicago Bears.
The only good Gardner is the pub near mine called Gardner's Arms.
I don't even think that's good, mate. The Bears have slipped to 1-5 as Justin Fields leaves the game with a hand injury that could rule him out for 2 or 3 games.
Dislocated thumb.
Yep. The Vikings win 19-13 in a ball fest because that was all it was. Despite CJ Stroud's first interception in the NFL, it didn't stop the Texans going to 500 as they win 20-13 over the New Orleans Saints. Baby hope. Dolphins moved to 5-1 somehow.
Okay, well, the Panthers started off quickly.
Oh my God, didn't they just?
At the end of the first quarter, I believe the score was the Panthers 14 to Chuba Hubbard scored I think it was a 5-yard touchdown. And then Thielen found the end zone. By the way, Thielen had a very good game.
Oh my God, yes.
He was class, but he's so good.
And then after spotting the Panthers 14 points, the Dolphins started playing. Mostert scored 3 touchdowns. I really appreciated his second touchdown celebration where they all recreated Remember the Titans.
Oh, love that. Love that. You should drop that in the chat. It's brilliant.
Yes. Hill and Waddle got a touchdown each. And Tua, I mean, Ollie probably still thinks Tua is bad, but Tua had another very, very good game and is probably in the conversation for the Heisman, not Heisman.
I did say to someone that Tua's overrated yesterday. Shayna was in the earshot when I said it.
I did. You did.
And the Dolphins offense again looked electric. I think the defense got 6 sacks of Bryce Young.
4 sacks, 36 hits.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was only 4 sacks. I thought it was more than that.
Yeah, 36.
And to be honest, I can see the Panthers going 0-17 this year.
And not getting a first-round pick.
Yeah, they don't have a first-round pick. I mean, if they want to send Brian Burns over to the Niners, I'll happily give them the first-round pick back.
You've got no first-round pick in your draft
you can get, apparently.
Right. Shall we go get some popcorn, Shane? This is going to be entertaining.
Yes, but I'm looking forward to this bit. Gentlemen, please have at it.
So I'm not overly bothered about this loss.
Okay, then. All right. More on that story later. Back to you guys in the studio.
I said this to Ollie before we came on air, before you two jumped on. I don't know if I said this to Shane or I said whoever's kicking for this game is going to miss the winning field goal because of the weather.
Well, I mean, there were 3 missed field goals in the game.
The weather was shocking. They said it quite a bit on the radio, didn't they? On the way back, It was really rainy. Money.
I thought they were just making excuses for Purdy. Here's the thing that I'm not overly bothered about. Purdy proved something to me in this game. He was having a bad game. He couldn't move the ball. But then when it mattered, 2-minute drill, he put us in a position to win the game. He hadn't had to do that. He hadn't had to do that yet. And he proved that even when he had 2 completed passes in the second half before that drive, he moved the ball enough to put us in a position where, honestly, a 41-yard field goal attempt, kicker should be nailing that. And watching the post-match press conference after the game of Jake Moody, he looked in pieces.
Yeah.
It's how you pick your rookie up now, isn't it?
But just about the game as a whole, yes, the Niners were poor, but I would like to highlight a few things.
Go on.
End of the first half, there was something that was adjudged to be an incomplete pass. And I think that was probably the right decision. However, on the field, if it had been called a fumble, I think it would have stayed a fumble. I think it was so
Yes, I remember that on the raid. They blew it dead, didn't they?
Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
borderline that I think it would have been whatever was called on the field. But Ayuk also dropped a 40-yard bomb from Purdy that was on the money.
Yeah,
And
that
would have been 6, definitely. Purdy also missed a few throws, but everyone will do that. But the one I want to talk about, and I hate to dog on the refs, but that pass interference, it wasn't pass interference. Whatever the call was, it was wrong. Literally, the guy ran into Gibson. There was nothing Gibson could have done.
No, I agree.
Oh yes, I heard. Yeah, I remember going on about that. I don't remember I remember the call. I remember them talking about it on the radio, and they're saying he had nowhere to go. It was literally, he was at full tilt. He was slowing down. It's just momentum took it. And it's one of them things. But
and that would have put Cleveland at 4th and 10 on their final drive that they scored. Did they score a touchdown or a field goal? I think they scored a field goal, but it would have put them at 4th and 10. So just like the Bills game that I think we'll get to, the refs made a horrible call that decided the game.
Yeah, Mr. Parent, anything to add?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I love Ayuk, but then it was a game, and he's been brilliant this season. It's just one of those games where it's the difference between what makes him an elite wide receiver as opposed to being a really, really good league wide receiver. A couple of those passes, yeah, he could have grabbed. I felt really bad about Moody because he didn't have a great preseason. I mean, I don't think he actually hit any of his field goals in preseason. And he missed a big one, I think, in the first half that could have extended the 49ers lead.
For 54 yards.
Yeah, and which again, and there was just something in that commentary as they're kicking up, going, "Oh, Jake Moody is the best kicker in college in the last 3 years," and I literally building up. Oh, and he's missed. It was like one of those movie moments where the commentary actually does more damage than the actual event itself. But
commentators curse about 100%. It's a real thing.
I stand by this because I said to it on the show on Thursday, and I said to Hendo when I was sitting with him, you play your rookies in your rookie season. Let them make those mistakes. Let them learn from it, whether or not it's character building. I saw the press conference from Moody, and he looked devastated, as in he looked like he could have quit. Like, that's what we're talking about here. Like, he looked like he could have easily gone to John Lynch and say, "Release me. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm one and done." And I think he needs this. He needed this experience. Us losing to the Browns is not going to make or break our season. It's not, because we are still probably going to hit the playoffs. We're likely to get to the NFC Championship. I'm not blowing smoke up our own arse. We're just that good in terms of our team. Now, the injuries to Debo and CMC, I'm led to believe, aren't actually that substantial.
1-2 weeks max.
McCaffrey might miss Monday against the Vikings.
Yeah, the Vikings.
He might miss Monday against the Vikings, but other than that...
It wouldn't surprise me if we rest McCaffrey the next 2 weeks against the Vikings and the Bengals. Because then we have our bye
week. Yeah. But then...
Here's the one thing I'm happy about. I feel like the 17-0 talk was doing more damage than it was good.
Good.
Also, we got a message here saying, "My man Moody Monday, what's up?"
Hey.
So you say that about the 17-0. The Patriots had that a lot, and it's how you almost block that out. It's, especially as a player, you've got to block that out and not, we're going to go unbeaten. We're going to go unbeaten. We're going unbeaten. You've got to block out. Stand to your coaches going, we're not talking like that. Yes, we want to win every game, but don't think of it. You just
In
gotta
the
take it one game at a
NFL,
time.
who is the only team that's gone undefeated and won the Super Bowl?
1972 Dolphins.
something.
1974 Miami Dolphins.
Oh, I thought it was 72. I thought it was 72.
72 it is, isn't it?
72.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they did 50 years last year.
Yeah, so that 72 Dolphins. What doesn't get brought up in the history is the fact that that season was heavily. They didn't play a full season games because of like player strikes.
Mm.
So that season isn't a complete 17-16-0 season. So the closest that we've had to a perfect team were the 85
Patriots.
Bears. No, the
What about
the
2008
The
85
Patriots?
Bears.
07
The
85
85 Bears. They only lost
07.
one game all season.
Same
the
with the
85
Patriots.
Bears.
07
But the
Patriots
Patriots lost the
Super Bowl.
big game. They lost the big game. It doesn't count if you lose the big game. It doesn't count. The Bears.
It
are
makes,
the
right, it makes me laugh
closest that
because
we've
they were
got
the
to
number one
protection.
seeds. Scraped, smashed it, beating everyone out of the park. They scraped it past the AFC Championship. I can't remember who they played that year. The Giants literally only just got into the playoffs.
Was that
And
helmet
then
catch
that-
year?
Hmm?
Was
Yes,
that
it was
helmet
helmet
catch
catch that
year?
Yeah. Oh, it's on the Brady documentary. They're talking about it. It's
Yeah.
the only year that it's the only time that a team's only just scraped in to number 7 seed and won the whole goddamn flipping thing.
I mean, that helmet catch was incredible, though.
That's ridiculous.
Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add to the Niners game or any other games really quickly, Mr. Harris, before we roll on to the later games?
Yeah. Before we move on, we give the boys, it's past 9 o'clock, yeah. We give the boys a lot of shit for their the way they bang on about the Niners and bang the Niners drum. But let's be fair. Two of their key players got injured yesterday. They lost to the Browns by 2 points.
Yeah.
You
With
know,
the last kick,
and as already said, yeah, exactly. As already said, things didn't go your way. But then you've got the pressure of an undefeated season. Thing is, this might benefit you. This might do you a lot of good in the long run. The fact that this sort of pressure's off your back now. As you said, Phil, you'll get the way you need to be. You will have a very deep playoff run. And as I said before, and much as I hate to admit it, they may win it all this year. But the one thing I didn't like about you, I've told you that before. The one thing I don't like about this game yesterday is those fuckers cost me a tenner.
It's true. As we were lining up, we were literally going, all right, well, I expect Purdy to score. I expect CMC to get and literally as we're just going through, yeah, I can see how you.
To be fair, you did say you're scoring your first drive.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, we
I
always
did say that.
That's not just like a thing from this season. We've kind of done it since Shanahan's took over. We always score on our first drive.
Yeah. And I mean,
The one thing I want to see is how Purdy's now going to go without his two big stars, CMC.
I
and
actually
Debo.
want to see how Purdy's going to do with his first actual loss. That
Yeah.
didn't involve him coming out the game injured. He didn't play well for 3.5 quarters. He had that last drive which got us in. I'm actually quite suspect with Shanahan as well because we had 8 seconds left. He could have run the ball. He could have, tried he could have tried to get a little bit more yards, and then boom, then call the final timeout. But he didn't.
Yeah, the time. I do understand that, but the timeout and that.
Yeah,
it was
just a draw. Literally a draw, 5-6 yards, boom, timeout. Okay, Moody gets extra 6 on his kick.
Okay. On to the 9 o'clock games. Well, the Lions have gone to 5-1 for the first time since 2011, and only the 5th time in their history since the 50s, as they beat Tampa 20-6. I've got something to say about them, which I'm going to say afterwards.
Oh, is this the take? Is this the take you were talking about earlier?
Yes. The Jets have beaten the Eagles for the first time in their franchise history.
Wow.
They were the last unbeaten team in the league after these boys, 49ers, lost earlier on in the day. The Jets winning 2014. And
can I just say, is somebody covering the Jets game? Because I've just got something I just want to add into that. If we're not,
yeah, we got something. We got a special guest covering that one.
Yes.
Oh man, I've got a scoop. I've got a scoop for this game.
You can add that in a minute. Let me finish my bit. All right.
Sorry.
Love you. Kieran Williams has rushed for a personal record for 158 yards as he leads the
now-
Rams to
and
a
is now
26
injured.
win over the
And is
Cardinals.
now
Yeah,
out for 5 weeks.
as Mr. Hope says, yeah, he's got an MCL sprain, which put him out to 4 to 5 weeks, which is a shame. Oh my god. I've just seen that pass from Mac Jones again. Oh my freaking god. Yeah.
Which
So
one?
the one that literally got, there was nowhere near anyone, but Hunter did slip. But yeah. We can't even beat the bloody Raiders, so that says something. We have slipped to 5-1. I can't remember the last time the Patriots.
You mean one of
You slipped to 5-1. You wish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's quite a slip.
Yeah, to 1-5.
Upwards.
I don't know what is wrong with this team. You know, they look like, yes, we're getting going. Then Mac threw a horrible ball. When we had our only starting lineman that was meant to be out of our depth chart, our strongest starting 5 of our depth chart was our centre. That said something. Then not having anyone line up alongside Sidney So at right tackle to block Max Crosby is another mind-blowingly stupid thing to do.
Was that for the safety?
That was for the whole game long. The whole game long, Max Crosby had a free run at Mac Jones. Every play, apart from 2 that he wasn't in. I'm going to feel a little bit sorry for Zeke Elliott. He ran in a 76-yard touchdown.
That got called back.
That got called back for the minutest of minutest holes. It was literally 0.1 of a second. And he did it, so he jumped in. He deserved it. It was just a brilliant run. And you could just see Hunter Henry's face in the helmet going, oh, shit. I'm in for this one. Yeah. And Brian Hoyer, you would do it, wouldn't you? Brian Hoyer and...
celebration.
And, you know, Jacoby Myers. That bomb to... You know, I think it was... No, it wasn't Hunter. It was Trey Tucker, the rookie. 48-yard bomb to Trey Tucker. A fair play to Josh McDaniels. He knew that we were going to double team Davante Adams. So just ping it down the middle. And it wasn't going to be Jacoby. It was going to be your third string wide receiver. Fair play. A lot of grumblings at the coming out the defensive side of the ball that the offense can't do anything, which is true. They are shite. Shicer than shite.
Fire Bill O'Brien.
I would like, you know, I've seen a video today of one of the other podcasts that I'm involved in, but I don't show. I just get involved in because of the hell of it. That they're talking about it, and they want to see an O-line built to get that top tackle, top guard. I do think Cole Strange will be a top guard in the league because he's brilliant, but we do need a top tackle because our tackles are walking flags. Shocking.
Just out of interest, do you guys remember when Ollie was really excited about Bill O'Brien? He was going to unlock Mac's potential and the offense was going to be so much better this season.
Our offense will get there. There is
on days 8 months ago.
Yeah. The problem is nobody's got that much time.
No, there is 2 glaring problems on the field.
The offense and the defense.
No, did you not see the hit that Julio Peppers delivered on Davante Adams?
Yes, I have seen that.
Popped the ball about 6 miles up in the air, and can't remember his name. It begins with T. What's his name? Tavari, that's his name. Caught for the interception. Our defense is brilliant. We've got our 2 best players on defense missing. 2 of our best players. You know, I think Peppers is brilliant, and J.C. Jackson is going to be back to his best he was. But our O-line is like a turnstile. So I'd love to know who the turnstile. I'd love to know who our O-line coach is because he is shocking. Our offense can't get separation. We're going to lose Hunter Henry because Hunter Henry will not get re-signed in the summer purely because they won't re-sign him.
John's just said, what's worse though, losing to the Browns or the Raiders? It's got to be losing to the Raiders.
No.
3-time Super Bowl winning champions, the Raiders. I don't
Losing to
know.
BTEC Patriots. Sorry, John. Love you really much.
I think the Raiders proved that they are not the BTEC Raiders. They are like the next level up Raiders.
Yeah.
The entry level Raiders.
Yeah. They are.
John Dodge said, "Hi Shane." So this is what winning feels like.
Yes, it's a nice feeling. I quite like it.
Ollie, would you like
No.
to bring in our special guest to talk about the Jets, and then we'll let Mr. Perrin.
Well, should we
Oh my
let
God,
Phil
please-
have his scoop? Should we
Please
let
tell
Phil
me
have
there's
his
Phoebe.
scoop?
Is it
Should
Phoebe?
we let Phil can have a scoop first, and then
Right,
we'll
so
go on
the scoop that I discovered was did you hear, and I get this via The Athletic, that Aaron Rodgers was actually helping calling plays on the Jets sideline, that he actually had a headset, and he was the one that apparently suggested letting the Eagles score, which then set up on the next drive the Jets to score their only touchdown of the game, which helped seal the victory. So even though he's not on the field, Aaron Rodgers is all locked into the Jets.
Aaron Rodgers was throwing passes in warm-up without a
Yeah.
boot, without crutches. He had surgery 4 weeks ago
My
on the
God.
repair his Achilles. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ollie, bring the guest in.
Okay, our special guest all the way from America, Rich Eisen.
All right, it's like 12:30 in London. I've been up for a gajillion hours in a row, and I want to apologize to the good people of the UK for waking up half their country after what I just saw the Jets did, picking off Jalen Hurts 3 times, the Jets D-balling out, and finishing up their first ever win over the Eagles, not just, in my lifetime, but in the history of the franchise, to go 3-3 at the bye. What the hell just happened? And Rodgers is walking around like he's 23 years old,
Rich is
with
even
no
shocked
crutches,
that
no
he's,
boot,
that he's paused.
just patrolling the sidelines while Zach Wilson is playing his ass off.
Yeah, I mean, it's on his socials. You can see the video there. We kind of.
I might need to get on TikTok now if that kind of content's on there.
He looks
I
like
love
he
Rich Eisen.
looks
I
like
love
he can't believe what just happened.
Oh no, he's brilliant. To be
That's
fair. Before we roll on to Sunday Night Football, I said to the guys earlier on that I'm going to. I've got a opinion that might ruffle a couple of feathers.
Come on, then.
And it's a Bill O'Brien's overrated, and so is Gardner Minshew.
Less of it.
Lions are going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Oh, fam.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Ruffle some feathers, shake some cages. That's not a bad shout at all.
That's funny because when you came online earlier, you told me the Lions were going to be number 1 seed in the NFL in Tennessee. So
I'm luring you in, mate. False sense of security. No, the Lions are going to be number 1. This is my reason. They've got some absolute studs. They got some absolute studs. Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Gibbs. David Montgomery on the defensive side of the ball, Hutch on the defensive side of the ball. They are superb. They are lining up with Pro Bowler after Pro Bowler after Pro Bowler. Okay. They've probably got the easiest record, the easiest schedule coming up for the rest of the season now.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got you lot on Sunday. That's not saying you're an easy record. You're probably one of the harder ones.
Thank you.
Okay, to play.
Thank you.
no, they're
All
not.
right.
We'll
I'm
show
not
Christmas
saying,
Day
I'm
how
not
bad
saying
the
this. I'm
Ravens
not
are.
saying this because because Ella's all that, or any of my kids are fine, whatever. Okay, they've got to play the Bears twice. They've got to play the Vikings twice. They've got to play the Saints. They've got Green Bay coming to them. All these teams are under 500, apart from Shano's lot. They put a
Easily see
statement
younger
win.
rest he's undefeated.
That's a statement win against Tampa yesterday. It was a statement win against the Chiefs at the start of the season. They are becoming a very, very good team, and Dan Campbell's doing some really good stuff, and this team will go deep in the playoffs. The thing that I think will suffer them in the playoffs is that lack of playoff football experience. Yes,
Jared
they
Goff
probably
got to
got.
a Super Bowl though.
Yeah, I'm just about to say yes. They've got Goff at the who took the Rams to the Super Bowl, and they've probably got a few other guys in there who've gone into playoffs. Dan Campbell's probably got experience. In fact, Dan Campbell has experience being in the playoffs with the Dolphins when he was a coach, when he was a tight end coach in there. So they know what they're doing. But there's a lot of players who won't know what they're doing, and they'll get a bit over energetic, shall we say, about playoff football. Next season, they'll probably be Super Bowl favorites. But I think this season they're going to get the playoffs. And I love seeing them in the Super Bowl, but they are going to be the number one seeds.
I still think
not a bad show. Not a bad show at all.
Number one seed, but because we have a pretty easy schedule too.
What's your schedule?
Touch wood.
I don't think we have any schedule.
Like the only game that I think we shouldn't win from now to the end of the season is the Eagles with the link.
I think we'll lose to the Jags. Jags, Eagles away are difficult games. And then you got the Rams, which is always how's that coin?
And then Santa's bringing a late Christmas present to Baltimore on Christmas night.
I mean, you say it's a coin flip game against the Rams. We've won the last 9 times in the regular season against the Rams.
That's so true.
Oh yeah, you did. I thought that.
Yeah, we don't lose.
I thought that said Rams W. I thought that said Rams W, but it's Rams as in you beat them. I mean, you're there or thereabout. I don't know. I just think that last game of the season, I think Rams are going to have something to play for going into that game.
Honestly, I think we'll have had our hat and t-shirt game by then. I don't think that game's going to matter.
Maybe for the Rams it might. I think the Jags will be a harder test for you than the Eagles on current form.
The Eagles will find their form.
Yeah, like I said, the Eagles haven't got out of second gear. They've lost their left tackle, Lane Johnson. Left tackle? Or was he right? Or was he the guard?
Left-sided offensive lineman.
Yeah. So they've lost him out. He's out for a few games now. That's massive. Hurts took a couple of knocks on
the three.
It's going to be an interesting run in now. It's great going to be looking back because I know we're not going to make the playoffs this year. Sunday Night Football. I want to talk about that. We've seen that Damien Harris. Sorry, Damien.
Yeah,
Harris,
that was scary.
He's been given. He's clear. They're not expecting any long-term ill effects from it.
Do we know what the injury is?
All they've said is a neck. That's all I've seen come up.
That was scary.
Hospital onto the field. Everyone was thinking, "Oh God, not again, not another Damar Hamlin." Shano, do you know much about this game in Buffalo's? I can't remember what the full 19-8 win. I want to say.
Yeah, it was 14-9. It was.
It was 19-8.
And the Bills.
Chiefs Broncos.
Thank you.
I was going to say the Bills were very, very lucky. Their offense only woke up in the third quarter. And the fact that I didn't even know that Saquon was back. But he was there making plays like nothing had happened, like he wasn't injured. And it all came down to the last 20 seconds where I think the Giants were on the Bills' 5-yard line, something like that. And to score, obviously, they would have won the game.
That last play was PI, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was going to say. I said, Laura, look at this. And I said, that's PI. And they didn't call it. Or was I the one before the last pass? I think they were both PI, to be perfectly honest. But I don't think the NFL can have the likes of the Niners, the Eagles, and the Bills all losing the same day.
The NFL can't let Bills, Rams, and Niners. Bills, Eagles, and Niners lose on the same day.
No,
I saw a wrestling meme about it earlier.
Wait, look at you.
Look at you.
I was going to say, look at you getting all cultured.
You've been off on him.
Whoa. We can find
there's a lot of
pages
these teams that struggle to get out of second gear yesterday. There's a lot of big shock results yesterday. Obviously, both the unbeaten teams losing. There's some, Carolina all trying to upset Miami
The Ravens winning a game.
in London in white, which is a
I heard
rarity.
that. In front of me.
In front of you, oh, yes.
Yes. Oi, cut it out.
Have you got any-
You heard what Kelly said yesterday. You can take the boy out of the valleys, but you can't take the valleys out of the boy, and that's 100% true.
Oh, mate, she says that all the time. Yeah. Shall we talk about a roughing the passer call, which shouldn't have been a roughing the passer call, which the one apparently
Yes.
Josh Allen hurt his shoulder on.
Josh Allen didn't get touched on that play.
No. And even the commentators called, that's not a roughing, that isn't the call, that shouldn't have been called at all.
I saw a tweet before by JJ Watt. I can't remember which play it was, and I can't remember which game it was, but he was basically saying, like, there needs to be accountability for the refs.
Yeah, and I saw that in the middle of the week. I saw that. He said about it in the middle of the week. It was on a show because I saw him talking about it. I can't remember what it was, but it was something like that. He had a Burnley cap on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. The amount of ref ball that goes on in this league is ridiculous.
Mr. Perrins, give us your insight into Dallas against Chargers tonight.
I think. Do you know what? I don't see this as the Dallas coming back with a vengeance tour. I think the Chargers are going to win.
I second that.
By the way,
is that what you're trying to? Is that what you're trying to do, Mr.
Yeah, I see what he means. Now I was thinking, what's he doing? I get it.
Like that.
Yeah.
There you go.
I genuinely think Dallas aren't going to recover for a while. I don't think this is a bounce back game. I still think Dallas got humbled last week. Again, I'm not talking too much smack because we lost against the Browns, but the Browns have a top tier defense, whatever. But the Cowboys chatted shit and got banged, and you lick your wounds for a long time. It doesn't matter,
right, Jamie,
of the opposition. But it's true. it's literally like this is where I'm using my teacher head here. And there's a thing I always try and tell students is when you're having a meeting with somebody, I always have a think in terms of, am I talking to the position or am I talking to the person? And in this instance from last week with like Dallas, they weren't talking to San Francisco. They were talking to their rivals. They weren't talking to a team that they were playing. They were talking about the history and the legacy of them two being rivals. They lost. And then most of last week, I always say again, if you're talking to somebody, 80% listen, 20% talk. And I say this quite a lot. The Dallas Cowboys, 80% talked and 20% got their asses handed, but that 20% actually massively hurt a lot more than them talking.
Yeah, and you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and you should use them in that.
Yeah, and
way.
The Cowboys historically has always done this. They did it in the 70s, they did it in the 80s, they did it in the 90s, and now for some reason they're good again, so they're doing it now in the 2020s.
Are they good?
They are a good team. They're a playoff caliber team. They have a good enough roster to get to the playoffs. They're better than
top 32. Definitely in the top 32 of the league.
The top 16. Top 16. Like I'm being very generous to Dallas here. The top 16 team in the NFL. I think Herbert and co are gonna actually give them a game, and I think there's more question marks around Dak.
I think Kellen Moore is going to outthink Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
That's the thing I'm interested in this game is Kellen Moore versus Dan Quinn, because Kellen Moore got, in my opinion, wrongly scapegoated out of Dallas last year.
Yes.
Yep.
And I think that was incorrect. 100%. So I really hope he comes back and some magical play call wins a game for LA. And I think that LA are going to win this game tonight.
I just need Mr. Herbert to get me 16 points. No, sorry, that's a lie. 7 points.
No, I was going to say you don't need 16.
7, and I win my matchup, so I'm happy. Yeah, I mean, there is something iffy about a Dallas team doing well. I like Dak as a person.
Why?
As
okay,
a person.
Why?
Yeah, to be fair, I like him as a person. He won Motivate Man of the Year award. The
I
amount
like
he does
Ray
for
Lewis
cancer
as a person as
charities,
well.
the amount he does for
I like Ray Lewis as a person.
Dallas communities is amazing.
They reckon Aaron Hernandez was really good.
Don't. I said something
Jesus.
yesterday which made him fucking cringe.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah. Yes, you did. Brilliant.
Name and
There
shame.
was a
Come on.
shirt, and it was a shirt. It was a Michael Vick shirt. Someone said about beating dogs, and I happened to mention Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah, and O.J. Simpson.
Hey.
Tarmac Panther has come out saying Mondays are dead.
I don't know who Tarmac is, mate, to be fair. Like,
I just assumed he was one of your students.
he probably is.
Nine
Probably is.
times out of
I have
10,
no
it's
idea
gonna
what
be.
I have no idea what that pseudonym is. I wanted
It's
to
all right,
read it.
Tarmac. Get your friends to come and watch as well. Get the engagement up. Come on.
Yeah, boy. I can't believe I just said that on air. Yeah, boy. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, boy.
You just said it twice.
Yeah, boy. 3 times.
Yes. JH.
JH.
It's like an episode of Scooby-Doo.
You've stumped him now.
JH.
James Harrison?
Well, I think.
Jack-
Oh,
Jack
wait, no,
Harlow?
he wouldn't be listening to this.
It's Jack. I'm sorry. It's Jack Harlow.
And on that note,
Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday night. We finished. We're absolutely battered, all of us. We had a brilliant day at
That's
Wembley,
true.
seeing these wonderful gentlemen yesterday
Tottenham
in
Hotspur
person.
Stadium.
Mr. Perrins, you're bigger in life, which is quite scary.
I want to be a giant of a man.
I literally
Chase-
said
and
that
I'm
to
not
you.
on about his stature.
I'm over 6 foot. I remember you going. I remember you ages ago. You were literally, when I said like, "Oh, how tall are you?" "Oh, over 6 foot." And you went, "No, you're not." I went, "You've never met me. What are you talking about?"
Shane's
Yeah,
smaller.
You were saying you're over 6 foot. Your head's 4 foot of that.
Shane's
The
smaller
forehead,
than I thought he
the
was gonna
nose
be.
is beaky.
Yeah, Shane, you're a bit smaller than I thought you were going to be.
I did say that.
Yeah. Smaller upwards, not outwards.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back tomorrow morning. If you
Thursday.
listen to this on Spotify, we'll
that's
be
true.
8:30 live on Spotify, and we'll be back live on your screens 8:30 Thursday night. So stay then, cheerio, and stay safe.